Hey everybody, I want to share 4 accomplishments that I had in 2023 and show you what is coming in 2024. 2023 brought my heaviest bunch of calves that I've ever grown. In a few ways, I was able to tighten the herd up, and I even pushed back my calving date. My average calving time would have been somewhere in the middle of April, if I remember right. I still got to get my books done on it, but I am really proud of how the girls performed this year. And on top of that, this was the biggest drought that I've ever dealt with in my farming career. We dealt with less than 10 inches of rain for the whole growing season. Another thing I'm really proud of is back to those calf weaning weights. One thing that's helped me is the girls have finally became one big family. When we got started, we rented that other chunk of property that's right next to ours. We brought in basically 3 herds. My original herd, some of my dad's cows, and then we bought in some cows that we needed to be able to fill that pasture up. So we had 3 different groups, and I do have to say this year, even shown in my videos, the girls got along really well. They grouped together, and like that video that I show where where I'm grouping them back together, the herd is grouping back together. That video, they wanted to be together. When you look in that video where we start out, where were they? They were together even with that fence line that was separating them. They've done an excellent job of getting the program figured out. When I call them, they come. And when they are not together, they know to go find each other. They've really been a one big family, and I'm proud of them for that. And it showed in the calves. It took me a lot of time, hard work, and effort. I remember the first time I got them and we went to the other pasture, I thought, oh, my cows, they know what they're doing. I was rotationally grazing before. They got this gig down. When I brought those 3 together, it was like, I think I had about 20 girls. We brought in another 13, 15, plus Dad brought, I think, another 10 of his. So not quite a third, but they did not commingle at all. I'd have to go find some. It was a mess. Now, if they're up on the hillside and I call them and they hear each other moving around or mooing, they're coming to check it out because they know something good is going on or that they need to get together. 2023 also brought me a big opportunity. Brian DeVore, who is the host of Ear to the Ground, which is through LSP, Land Stewardship Project, asked if I would be interested in doing a podcast. And I am just a huge podcast listener, so I look at that as one of my accomplishments that I was able to do in 2023. On that podcast, I talk about the history of this farm that we are farming on. I talk about my history, what my background is, and how we got to where I am today. That includes some information like where I learned everything that I'm doing now. And a lot of it is universities, other pasture walks, obviously YouTube. That's a big thing for me, what you guys are doing right now, watching YouTube. I also learn it from a lot of Google searches, paper documents, subscribing to certain grazing emails or farming emails. I just have learned a lot of different things and been sharing that through that podcast. I'll make sure I put it in the description below so you guys can listen to it if you're interested. The same day that we recorded that podcast, I had a pasture walk on our farm. That was something of a goal of mine that I wanted for a long time. I'm really proud of everything I have here. I like to share it with others, hence the YouTube video part. LSP, I was very fortunate. They've been great to work with. LSP was able to bless me and saying, hey, we do think you can help other people, and if you wouldn't mind, maybe we could do an event at your farm. Jumped at it right away. Loved it. Turned out phenomenal. It turned out better than I expected it to be. There must have been 30 people there. I was so thankful, and I felt so blessed that so many people I was able to influence, hopefully, for for the better, make their farms better, make them or encourage them maybe even to try something new, just like I'm doing on this YouTube channel. At that pasture walk, we talked about watering and how important it is to have a water system to improve the efficiencies on your farm. The other thing I talked about is permanent fencing, and I got down into the nitty-gritty of how to do it. How did I do my high tensile knots? Here's the kind of insulators I like. Here's the kind of temporary fencing. You know, that was like the three things: the water, the permanent fencing, and then the temporary, you know, running the reels and how to run those, along with what posts I like. I had all different kind of posts there. I have different kind of reels. I have different kinds of wire, like the braided wire, the different handles. I went through all of that to hopefully make it so that everyone could, I mean, I actually had it all out too. So I tried to make it so that people could try it out for themselves, feel what the difference is, see what the difference are in the tensions on the post. You know, take high tensile wire, bend it back and forth. It's kind of a bugger to work with. A lot of folks are used to the two-pronged barbed wire or whatever you guys are using. The high tensile has really worked well for us. And the water system, I talked about how, that's in that podcast too, I talked about how some mistake that we had. You know, you don't burn the road ditches next to it. You'll burn your water line up. Don't do that. Doesn't work out very good. I also talked about some of the failures we had and also those that has helped me gain and get to where I'm at. A lot of things that started this was friends and family that made it so that I could think differently and just be encouraging to try something new. Before we move on into 2024, I want to pause and take a moment to be grateful and thankful for you all. Here's the start to the stories and the adventures we're going to have in 2024. My game plan for 2024 is to graze either some rye that I have seeded down from last fall, or to try a summer annual mix and turn the girls out into that on some acres. I don't know which one I'm going to do. It'll be one or the other. Maybe tell me what you guys would prefer or would like to see. The other thing is, in the next couple weeks, my goal is to make and create a feed inventory Google Sheet and connect that with a Google Forms. I learned that from a webinar that I had subscribed to, and I'll have to see if I remember. I don't remember exactly who it was that shared that, but I will be tinkering with that, and that might take me a little bit of time to learn how to do it, but I know I can catch on and make it so it'll work really efficiently. Right now we use a calendar, and then I got to go put in what we use. So if I could just have a Google Form sheet showing what we're doing, sounds like it'd be really easy for me to pull my phone out, put in, fed 3 bales, boom, jumps to a sheet and creates a line item there. I do also want to create one more permanent pasture, and that's probably by that back pond that needs some dirt work. So that is where I'm thinking will be the most beneficial for me. The next thing is, I did a little bit this year, especially with the drought that we survived, is to play a little bit more with the stocking density. I'd like to tighten the girls up, and that might mean I need to watch how much feed is basically out in that paddock and just doing a better job management wise to make sure they have enough feed for the timeline that I plan for them to be there, and then having that stock density high to help get it so that there's extended rest time, and then be able to still put, to get everything manured and covered. Another thing I want to do is be able to have a sheet of paper with a better idea of my cost of production. I kind of have a ballpark idea, but if I could get an even closer idea, I'd be able to know and make better decisions. My last goal is to include you all. I want to have 1,000 subscribers here in 2024. I do think I can accomplish that by July 1st. That's where I want to be at. And that is already started with being at 200. So thank you all for that. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me. And I'm looking forward to, like I said, the adventures and stories that are yet to come. I've definitely learned a lot by starting this, And I got an idea that if I'm going to share anything numbers-wise or differently, you guys like to have the girls in the videos. So that might mean if I'm going to share anything that I think is going to help you all, I better just have the cows in the background, and then maybe they could be some numbers in the video to help make you guys better at what you do too. All right, that's all I have for today. You guys all stay healthy, stay happy, and I will see you again next time.